Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Today, we got the second UAP congressional hearing led by Representative Nancy Mace, who's the chairwoman of the subcommittee on cybersecurity, information technology, and government innovation. They titled the committee or the hearing Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Exposing the Truth, which sounds like an episode of something on the History Channel. But we got a little bit of a different lineup with this hearing. But just to go off the bat, I watched the whole thing this morning as it aired, and I at the time that it ended, I was left pretty unimpressed. Felt like it was kind of a bust, honestly. Didn't really hear anything we didn't already know to some degree. There were some slight interesting insights, but nothing groundbreaking. Nothing that really, I think, is going to push the needle. Obviously, this kind of thing is to more have things on the record, and it's kind of more targeted to appealing to people in the mainstream that might not be as familiar with the subject as a lot of us that are really into it and keep up with things are. But let's go through a little bit of what happened. I have some of my notes on the side here. So this was led by, again, Nancy Mace and Robert Garcia, who's a member of the Oversight Committee. And then we have our witnesses, and I'll take you through here. I have a little picture. We have Dr. Tim Gallaudet, a retired Navy Rear Admiral, former oceanographer of the Navy, and he is CEO of Ocean STL Consulting. A little background on him. Then we have somebody who's a little bit more well-known in the space, especially in the last couple of years. Luis Elizondo, former Department of Defense official who led ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which they brought up a lot here. We have Michael Shellenberger, who's a journalist and founder of the newsletter Public. His name has been pretty prevalent in the UAP discussion the last couple of years as well. And then we have somebody that I wasn't too familiar with going into these hearings at the end there. Michael Gold, who is a former NASA official and current executive at Redwire Space. So him I know the least about. The other guys, Gallaudet, Elizondo, Shellenberger, I've heard before and I've seen interviews with them, stuff like that. So let's kind of get into a breakdown, kind of a play-by-play of what happened during these congressional hearings. So we got the opening remarks. Nancy Mace bring in, this is a bipartisan effort. We're trying to pull back the curtain on these. I liked her opening remarks, and they want to get into kind of the nitty gritty of things and wonder and ask where all this government spending is happening. She made kind of a cheeky remark about Immaculate Constellation and saying if she's going to be on a list, come get them, which I'm glad she brought up Immaculate Constellation. Shellenberger's, I believe, one of the ones that initially reported on this. And if you're not familiar with Immaculate Constellation, it's essentially a program, a government program that basically houses all the media, or a lot of the media, apparently potentially thousands of various types of media, high resolution images, videos, all kinds of stuff on UAP and other anomalous phenomena. We don't really know what they have or if they even have it. But that is the claim. And that's where we kind of, that was kind of the thing I wanted to learn the most about, but again, not really that much news said about that in my opinion. Nothing those that of us that are familiar with the story don't already know. Here's some specific things that I noted. Gallaudet Gallaudet recounted a 2015 incident during naval training exercise where he witnessed a video of an inexplicable flying object exhibiting flight characteristics unlike any known aircraft. That's constant in a lot of these stories. He noted that the email containing the video disappeared from his and others' accounts without explanation. A little strange there. Luis Elizondo, he kind of reiterated, again, a lot of what we've heard him say before, but now he's kind of saying it at a congressional hearing. He asserted that UAPs are real and that advanced technologies not made by any government are monitoring sensitive military installations globally and other sensitive areas like power plants, stuff like that. He claimed that the U.S. and some adversaries possess UAP technology and are keeping it secret to hide the fact that we are not alone in the cosmos. I mean, I know there's still a lot of people that are very skeptical out there, and I like to say I have a healthy skepticism of all this stuff. I'm not completely bought in, and I don't know if anybody should be. I think everybody needs to be cautiously and healthily skeptic on any of this stuff, because there's a lot of wires being crossed, is all I'll say. Michael Shellenberger discussed information from whistleblowers about a secretive UAP program allegedly called Immaculate Constellation, which consolidates data from various sources, including satellite imagery and pilot reports. He highlighted the depth of secrecy and the existence of high-quality evidence yet to be disclosed. So a lot of this stuff, majority of this stuff, we haven't seen if it exists. And Michael Gold, who was kind of a weird one in this. He seems like a lovely guy, but I don't think he offered any of this, anything, to this hearing, in my opinion. Seems like he was just there to be a spokesperson for NASA, which is kind of what he is. But the notes I have, he suggests NASA could play a pivotal role in studying UAPs by acting as a clearinghouse for data and reducing the stigma surrounding the research, saying if NASA officially got on board. And he proposed using AI tools to analyze NASA's historical data for potential discoveries. So he's making a pitch for funding for AI tools to go through historical information that NASA has. I didn't really get his deal. I don't think he should have been here. He didn't really offer anything. I also don't think Elizondo should have been there either. He didn't really add anything either. I was hoping for, real whistleblowers, people we haven't seen yet, people that have seen or been kind of closer to these things, or people that say they have been, or at least have been, secondhand, not third, fourth, fifth hand, like nowhere close to this. But I guess you got to start somewhere if you're doing this on kind of a main stage level. A lot of the other stuff was pretty basic. I mean, again, I don't think we got a lot here that we didn't already know about. Everybody, I mean, the big frustration, and that's the part that I think makes the most sense, why anybody really even cares about this, at least in Congress. I mean, people want to know the truth and want to know, what's out there and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest frustration is with the Department of Defense and intelligence communities holding critical information from the public and Congress, and obviously a lot of spending without any oversight. So that is a huge deal, and that is a big practical reason why these hearings are still happening. It also brings attention to a lot of other things via these congressional hearings, but the big one, I think, is the whistleblower protections, because I don't think we're getting anywhere without real whistleblower protections. I think we need subpoenas, because if Congress really believes that this is a real problem and there's real problems and there's actual national security threats or what have you because of the UAP issue, then I think we need to take this a little more seriously. It still feels like a little bit of a pageant kind of show to me. Maybe I'm being cynical, but it feels like they're just getting people in a room to say, hey, Is there still life out there? I don't know why we're having this conversation, because we need to get to some real information. That's why I think Mr. Gold, who seems perfectly nice and enthusiastic, I don't think he shouldn't have been here, near this at all. There's no reason he should have been involved with this. And Lou, I mean, I know a lot of the frustration is everything needs to be said in a skiff. There's nothing that they could say, in front of the, everybody, the public, on TV, on the internet. But I don't think they should be doing these then. Like, what are we getting out of it? Is it just to keep the momentum going on this, to get other members of Congress in on this and interested? I think a lot of people are still staying away from this because it seems kind of hokey to a lot of people, unfortunately. And it's going to stay that way. It's going to stay that way until people see real evidence or hear something convincing enough. But I don't think even hearing it anymore is going to be convincing. I think people need to see really, really convincing evidence, in terms of video, probably even more than photo. And I think people need to see things with their actual eyes and, hear it with their ears. And obviously that's considered catastrophic disclosure if things just become present and undeniable. But I don't know. I didn't really take anything away from this congressional hearing. I think the whistleblower protections is a big one. There needs to be real whistleblower, enhanced, foolproof whistleblower protection for people to actually come forward, because people are still very scared. I mean, I can't even begin to have a clue what's going on behind the scenes, who's saying what to whom, and sure, people are just scared. Is it worth their livelihood? Is it worth their life to come forward and talk about this in a big way? There's a lot at stake for everybody involved, for people that want to say something and for people that want to keep it under wraps or think it is part of national security's best interest to keep it under wraps. That's also a big part of this. It's not like some people just want to keep it secret to keep it to themselves. Sure, that exists. There's people that want to keep it secret because a lot of people will get in trouble if things come out. I'm sure that's a big part of it, but I think a big part of it is national security, especially if it is something of our own creation, and it has been for all these years. If maybe there was some kind of, maybe going back to Roswell, maybe earlier, some kind of crash retrieval thing, and we're just reverse engineering and adapting that technology ever since, and maybe there hasn't been anything since then, if that was real, or maybe we just figured out some other kind of technology that we've just been kind of working on and keeping from the public. I mean, the questions could just go on and on and on, but there's a lot of malicious actors. Not to say that the United States is completely innocent in anything either, but you just don't know how far somebody else with a certain kind of technology is going to push it. I mean, United States has gone far pushing technology and done terrible things with it before, but also, we protect a lot of the rest of the world. So it's tricky. It's very tricky. I understand people that would want, or groups of people that would want things to be under wraps. It makes a lot of sense. But, I think there's a level of it that can be shared with the public. I think when you don't share things with the public, it feels like it feels a little bit more obvious. It feels a little bit more on the nose. Like, we want to control this. We have this hidden information that you're not allowed to have, or you're not going to be privy to, or you're not, you can't handle. And honestly, I agree to an extent. I don't know if a lot of people can handle some of the truths that might come out about this stuff, if there really is proof of extraterrestrials, or I think Lauren Boebert mentioned the hybrids. I don't know why she was there. She didn't need to be there. She didn't say anything of value. I don't know how she got reelected, but this isn't that show. But yeah, I think once we get those whistleblower protections really in, I think you'll have some brave men and women start to come forward, start to want to share their story or their experience. And then that's when we're going to get the real meat of this stuff and understand what it is. To play on the kind of the some of the more interesting ideas, at least in terms of extraterrestrial or what you want to call it. I think I don't remember exactly who said it. I don't know if it was Tim Gallaudet or Elizondo that said that the craft might be aware or have some kind of level of awareness, which gets me to think maybe it is just a technological kind of species, or it's using some kind of intelligent, hyper-intelligent technology to traverse the galaxies, the universe, time, space, whatever you want to call it, to gather information, to communicate, which Lou also said that we've communicated non-verbally. That was one of the big things he mentioned. Let me see if I'm missing anything. But I think that would make sense in a that would make sense for, you know, a race of people, a civilization, to send out basically a hyper intelligent robot that could withstand high, you know, G forces, and can travel, you know, across the galaxy in no time flat, or even come from underwater up and, you know, be whipped around, and it wouldn't really bother them because they're not biological. Even though in the last hearing, Grush said they did retrieve biologics. Again, not sure what that what biologics really means. Some kind of life form, or some leftovers of some life form or something. But hopefully this is something we could find out more in time. But it seems like it's a mix of everything. At least still at this point, it's a mix of everything. And I think people have said that before. I think I can't remember exactly the name, but somebody said that it is, you know, it is not just one thing. It is not just one civilization. There's not just one type of UAP. There's a lot of different things going on. The only thing is, how have a lot of people haven't, you know, seen these things yet. It seems like, at least even in Congress, are saying that these things are starting to appear more and more and more, especially around sensitive areas, that I'm surprised it's just not so super prevalent yet. But maybe we're getting there. If things start to become really bleak on planet Earth, maybe we will get some more obvious intervention. But it seems like a lot of things are still behind the curtain. But I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to ramble for too long. Let me know what you guys thought of this hearing. Did you think there was anything to gain from this? Do you think it's more of the same? Do you think it was a total bust? If there's any insights that I missed that you thought were really interesting, I'd love for you to share them. Obviously, there was a lot said. I don't have everything in my notes, but I would love to hear what you guys thought of the hearing. What do you think about, you know, hearings going forward? Do you think these are helpful at all? Do you think these are a hindrance? Do you think they just set the conversation back? I really want to know what you guys think. You guys, some of you guys out there are really knowledgeable on this stuff, more so than me. I mean, I'm familiar with this world, but a lot of the more technical, political, kind of military stuff is a little over my head. So I'm trying to learn everything I can, but I'm really interested in discussing this issue and some of the stuff brought up in the congressional hearings and how we go forward with all this stuff. So let me know what you guys think. I'll post the video again pretty soon. I don't think there's been any say on if there's going to be another hearing anytime soon. Probably not till after Trump takes office again, and then they'll probably start doing some planning. I know he said he was interested in discussing this subject a little bit more, so maybe we'll get more from this. I mean, he is the one that set up Space Force too. So obviously he knows something. But I'm just curious to the extent that he's actually going to want to push things. But again, thank you guys for watching. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. We're doing a lot more UAP videos. I also do kind of pop culture and more specifically movie stuff on the side. And sometimes I'll post personal vlogs and stuff like that. But this channel has mostly pivoted towards being a UAP discussion channel for the time being. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys again for watching. And I'll talk to you very soon.